Okay, let's call this meeting to order. It is Thursday, June 27th at 10 a.m. Begin with the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner White?
I'm here.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoll?
Here.
Okay, let's sign the journal. And is there a motion to approve minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as outlined.
I will second that.
And roll call on that, please.
Commissioner Zoll?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes. All right, old business, administrator?
A couple things. I guess, first I'll bring up, got the quote from the sheriff regarding those tasers we talked about in Attica the other day. And, let's see, basically they're about $900 per, and he's getting the $9,000 grant. So he's requesting the assistance of the board of $5,500 for these, to get these orders. He is still trying to get, he has the FOJ funds, and there's limited things he can buy, but he's gonna try to do all the battery packs and some things that they can get under that FOJ, but the 55 is what he couldn't get through to that grant. And he said, actually, this grant was a $20,000 grant, but they would only approve, they brought it down, only approved $9,000 for our sheriff, so.
So if he had 15 tasers, that all of the road deputies would each have a taser, their own personal taser.
Yep.
Probably stay in the car, I would guess.
Is there,
And that comes out of our general fund?
Yes,
We get
yes.
them that
All the
balance.
sheriff stuff,
All goes
other
through
than
there.
grants, comes out of
see, I didn't realize until the gentleman explained to me the other day that see, I was under the impression that all the deputies started out at the sheriff's office. And so I thought, well, you could have shared tasers then, why, as long as you got one for, if there's 4 squads or 4 cars out in the county, then as long as there's one in each car, why did we need any more than that? Well, now understanding that the deputies physically take a car and at the end of their shift, they drive it home because it's more efficient versus coming back to the thing, I could see the reasoning why everybody would need a taser. And again, could understand that all of a sudden somebody gets shot because they didn't have a taser and they only had a gun, you know, the ramifications of that and so forth. So I've changed my opinion there and believe that and I agree with Commissioner Wagner, and I'm not sure how, where your thoughts were on it, but that we would support getting, support the additional funds so that everybody had a taser. And again, it's because I didn't understand how it was.
Yeah, I didn't stop and think about the fact that they take them home, because at
Yeah.
first I thought too. And then, oh yeah, that's right, they do take the cars home, that wouldn't work very well,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I agree.
If you want the sheriff to come in sometime and explain that policy, he's done that before, but once he explains it, it kind of makes sense. It's
Yeah.
saving over time, and people can respond right from home if there's a,
Does that mean we have 15 cars?
we've got quite a few cars. I don't know how
I
many
mean,
there
15
are.
sheriffs?
There's probably some that are off on leave or something, I don't know how that works, but,
I'm not sure how many cars there are.
Yeah.
There's quite a
Yeah,
few.
it probably wouldn't be a bad idea that
That's the
at Sheriff's Echoberry's convenience to come in and just explain it to the newbies here.
Sure.
That policy.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
policy of how it is, and
But it's okay with the board with the tasers if she goes ahead and
Yeah.
gets that resolution ready?
yeah.
I actually have one ready.
Okay.
We've done our workers' comp payment for the year, so we have a minimal amount in our workers' comp line that we can put back into the general fund pot. So instead, we just figured we would just do an appropriation adjustment so it won't come off the
Okay.
unused balance. So what we are proposing is a resolution for an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $5,500 from workers' comp to his supply line for these tasers.
Stacy, I'm sorry, can you explain this to, so we have excess funds in workers' comp?
Yeah.
Well, we budgeted X amount for workers' comp. Once we paid the bill, there was.
A
So,
little bit.
okay, so we are not, at this point, those are things that concern me as over budget items.
Yes.
Budgets, the previous commissioners said it had to be a balanced budget, I'm fine with it, that's kind of just a no-brainer stuff. The things that go over budget, the things that concern. But
Right.
this really is not an over budget item. We have an item, a department or the workers' comp that we over budgeted for it, so we have funds in that to be able to take care of this.
Yeah,
That
because it's
even
always
makes-
based on
That even
the,
makes it better.
based on the
Easier.
previous year. Workers' comp is usually based on salaries of the previous year. And so it's a percentage calculation, so sometimes it drops down a little bit, sometimes, we've been pretty good at not being under. So we had to put more money in, we usually are just a little bit over. And we've got that number, we used to have, we have like $100,000 left in there, and we've got it down to like 10,000.
It's hard to hit an
minimal.
exact on
Yeah.
insurance and workers' comp and unemployment and all
Yeah.
those, it's just hard.
So this
to-
$5,500 request will not have any negative impact on the general fund?
On the
It's just
unappropriated
coming-
balance.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Okay, is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, any more discussion on that? There's something else I'll throw in, just for the board to think about for future. As I said Thursday night, in past practice, and past practice doesn't mean we have to do it in the future, but in past practice, when the ICE program was bringing in more than what was estimated, which didn't happen last year, it was less than estimated. And it gets to the point where the Budget Commission recertifies, maybe in October, November, they recertify, you're gonna bring in an extra such and such amount. Past practice has been to give some of that back to the sheriff's office in some way. We did not budget any money for cars this year for the sheriff. Last year, we got 2 cars to replace older cars, and I think we did get a van out of the FOJ this year, but we didn't budget any for strictly police cars. So, if there would be a reappropriation late in the year, maybe we could put aside some for cars. That was in the back of my mind. I just throw it out for you to think about. No action today, but you can just think about that. It's an incentive for him to continue the program. We're working hard at it. It's a pain in the butt for him. He doesn't like dealing with all those extra people.
So what you're saying is that later on in the year, if we find out he's over the budget in the ICE funds, that we could possibly use some of that for vehicle replacement?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
suggesting might be a good idea. Now, we'll wait until I would suggest waiting until the Budget Commission says, yeah, he's gonna bring in more, and we're recertifying an extra 100,000 or something. And then then that raises your not carryover's not the right word, your unappropriated balance.
What I would like to see, and again, this is, from the sheriff's department, they would have to do this. I know EMS has done it, and they've done really a very good job of it. They look at the longevity of their vehicles and when replacement, so that we prepare for that year by year by year. Has the sheriff done similar things for replacement of his vehicles? He has so many vehicles, knows when the life expectancy of each of those vehicles is gonna wear out, so that we make sure that funds are in there. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, they said not to buy a vehicle this year, that's fine, but all of a sudden, if that means next year we gotta buy 4 versus 2, that concerns me. So I'd like to have the sheriff give us an outline of his vehicles and when he feels replacement is necessary, so that we make sure that we budgeted in for that year by year, and we're preparing
Yeah.
for those things. Again, great this year, but if
Well, he didn't
this year,
he didn't recommend we don't replace them, we just didn't put it in the budget. And he'd like to see a couple every year,
Yeah.
which is what normal practice is, a couple every
Right.
year. But, some years you do it, some years you don't, based on what you've got to work with.
and I think he spoke with you, Fred, earlier in the year about he's looking for a new 15-passenger van. He had mentioned it the other day, getting state term pricing for that, because they've started to do all the transports for ICE, which that money is coming back to the county. ICE is paying for it. We have a transfer. We may be going that direction anyway for something else, and he's been picking them up. Right now, he's using 2 vehicles just to make one trip, when he's looking to And I think he said we could revisit it like August or September. You had mentioned to him to revisit it, and
Maybe-
I'd like to see a comprehensive plan of
Okay.
all vehicles, longevity of those, if anything he wants to add on, so we can really start taking a long-term view of that.
Okay.
Okay, you ask him to do more work, but
Well, I don't think that's a
Necessary.
big,
did we vote?
that's not, did we vote on that? Oh, we did vote on it, okay. Let's vote on that.
Commissioner Zoller?
yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes. Okay, anything else?
Other old business, it's old business to me, it might be new business to the new commissioners. We did, in 2006, 2007, we had to have Buster, that's the Bureau of Underground Storage Tanks, come in and do some studying underneath the annex building. There was wells that were put in and tested all around the annex, and this was before the courthouse came down. And there was one well that was slightly contaminated, so we had to move into what is like a stage 2. We weren't in stage of remediation yet, and I got an email from Mike Rentz. He's the one that's helping us work on the engineers issue out there, and basically Buster has some new rules that they brought in last year, and they are requiring us to do it all over again.
I take Buster as a governmental agency.
Yes,
Must
Bureau
mean
for
something.
Yep,
Bureau of
Bureau,
Underground Storage Tanks.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
old sheriff's office had a buried storage tank.
Yeah,
or the old-
okay.
And
Yeah, when I read that Buster, I'm thinking like, well, I know a couple Busters, and I don't know how they would be involved with this, but okay.
yeah, they basically said that any tanks that weren't in active remediation, under the new regulation, the site must undergo surface assessment. And during the demolition, most of ours were damaged, buried, or destroyed during the demolition of the courthouse. 4 that needs to be replaced. The remaining
Not the courthouse,
wells,
but the sheriff's office, right?
yes, it was under the sheriff's office, yes.
The old sheriff's office.
Right.
But when they
right.
did the demo of the courthouse,
Oh.
it damaged the wells, because we didn't put in
Oh,
those.
the wells.
The
Oh,
wells
the
were
wells,
damaged,
okay,
yes.
Okay,
So they
These are water
can't,
wells.
they can't- yep.
Which is like, what,
I guess, they're
We-
testing-
Well water.
Testing
I mean,
wells.
Yeah,
They're not
testing
drinking
wells.
They're testing wells.
testing wells. And all of them came clean, except for the one that was like right in the middle of the 2 buildings, in between the annex building and the courthouse.
Okay.
That was the only one that showed slight contamination.
Okay.
But now Buster's saying that you weren't in remediation, so we need to start the process all over again. So he has sent a quote, which I emailed to you for you to review. He's given us a quote, I think it's not to exceed, I think it was 7,700 for his portion to get everything started, remediated, to get the wells put back in, and hopefully we don't, once we do the first stage, not have to go through this tier 2 stage again. But
Can you ever
he
just
said
be-
he would come in and help explain it if needed be, but this,
We don't have a lot of choice.
that's why.
can they ever just be closed up and just forgotten about forever? Or they don't allow you to do that, Buster?
Yes, Buster doesn't allow that. They've started to get more stringent on their, I mean, because we thought the one out to the engineer's office had been done 20 years ago, and all of a sudden they came back to do this one. And so that's where we're
We
at
had
on
one
this
out at the
one.
fairgrounds too. Is that one?
That one's done,
That one's
yep.
done, we think.
Think
Yeah,
unless they come back
Yeah,
and
unless they come back.
so it's, what I understand, it's never done. It's never
Well,
finished.
I think at one point they can give you a, well, like,
certification.
they did give us something there at the engineers though, and then they changed their rules.
Well,
and come
yeah,
back and
so it's
said-
nothing, it's
Then they
never
keep changing the
done.
rules.
Yeah. I think they do a certification. That's what they kept talking about when we started the process before, to put these wells in, but apparently it wasn't good enough. They changed the rules in the
Okay.
midstream, and they said if you weren't in the middle of remediation, then basically you have to start all over and
Right.
follow the new policies and procedures, the new.
If you did the remediation, would you be wiped off the slate that they can't come back, or they always have the option to come back? Maybe it wouldn't be bad to have him come in and, because I don't understand, I mean, to me, it's almost like communism there.
Well, we've got a building on top of this one, so remediation's a little harder than it is out at the
Yeah.
engineer's office. He dug that one up, I assume, this summer and
Yeah,
remediated
took it out, yeah.
But if they change the laws again, he could still be in non-compliance in future years. It's a liability that stays with you for doomsday, and it just
Yeah. I
doesn't
think
seem.
what got us on that one is we never got completely certified that the ground around it was just, had that slight contamination still, but they didn't want to dig anymore, so they just let it go. And somebody dug out their old papers and said, hey, we didn't certify this, so we need to check it out again,
Okay.
so.
Well, Mike Renz is very good about helping us stay on top, because they can find the heck out of you if you don't stay on top.
That's why I like if there's any way that you can close it. I mean, just
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
because
That'd be
it's an ongoing liability from now till generation to generation.
Yeah.
And
They
I
they
don't like
just need,
ongoing liabilities.
I think what they were talking about previously, that the well, there's enough rock down in there that it's filtering out the contamination before it gets anywhere. That's why all the other wells around it were clean. It was just the one site, so.
What contamination is there?
It was an old fuel
gas
oil or some gas tank. They used to bury their tanks for the, I'm assuming heat.
Fuel oil or
Fuel
something like,
oil, yeah.
okay. So that's, when you say a well, it's like a cistern or a holding tank that we put there
Yeah,
years and years ago, and we didn't pull it completely
Well,
out.
the well is the test well. It's probably just a little
Yep.
1 inch or 2 inch diameter well that goes down, sucks a little water or dirt
Yeah.
or something and sees if it's contaminated.
yep,
But the tank, we probably removed
Yep.
those tanks.
yep.
But there's dirt around it that had a little odor to it or something.
And then we put a building on top of it. So,
We could-
I've
gotta
got,
do what we
I've got
gotta
We
the,
gotta do what we gotta do. That's-
I've got the contract over for Derek to review, so we don't have to do anything today. And he said, he goes, I'm more than willing to come up and try to help explain this. And, but I figured at least to bring it up. I know you guys didn't have a chance to read it since I just got it yesterday, so,
Well, whatever, like you said, whatever needs to be done, we just
Okay.
have to do it.
all right.
Is that okay with you two?
Yeah.
That's kind of general feeling.
I still would like, I mean, I agree with that, but so I can have a more thorough understanding
Yes.
to see if there is any long-term remedy for the thing. I mean, long-term affordable remedy.
Yeah. Next week, you don't wanna keep having to redo it.
Every time they change the law,
Right.
they get more stringent, and then we're back in the soup again.
Yep.
I mean, it just,
And if we'd have got to remediation or that final step that they're talking about, the way he made it sound is we wouldn't have had to go through it all.
yeah, but the
all
final
back in again.
remediation would have been to remove it and go through, add that added expense and all the dirt to surround it, like when they move a fuel tank from a gas station. That's what I'm equating it with.
Yeah, because
That
they
gets to
would
be
have pulled the
expensive.
tank at the time and they would have dug around it and pulled everything out, put it back in, and they come in and test, years later, test to see if there was any fuel still left or, but like I said, all around the one well are clean. They did 7 or 8 wells around it and it was just that one spot that was contaminated, so it's,
Very contained.
yes. And that's what they were hoping, they would not make us do this whole tier 2 step but, so I can call him and have him come in.
Okay.
But we'll move forward with it, because
Mhm.
we know we're gonna need
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
but,
we don't wanna hold it up.
okay. That's all the old I have.
Okay, Nicole? Mr. Zoller, any old? Mrs. Stacy? I don't either. Okay, new business.
Okay, I have resolution authorizing a fund advance repayment from the Highway Safety Grant Fund 220 and 197 to the general fund, doing $6,936.23 from the 220 to the general fund, advance in, and also $1,063.77 from the highway safety grant to the general fund. It ended up being a 2-year split, so we changed the fund numbers, but they're paying back the general fund, the full amount. We did 8,000, I think, right at the end of 2011. have an appropriation adjustment for the Delinquent Care and Custody Fund, 159, moving $2,975 from contract repairs to contract services, $1,500 from travel to contract services, for a total request $4,475. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Delinquent Care and Custody Grant Fund, 162, putting $13,734 into contract services. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Delinquent Care and Custody Grant Fund, 159, putting $8,000 into contract services.
That's the request of the judge.
Yes, these are the requests of the judge. They have two different grants. They're sharing the cost of this. Need to get the contract in place by the end of June, so we can get the 2000 and I think it's the 12 money plus the 13 money, and get that garage put up out behind the youth, or across from the youth center that we discussed earlier in the year. I have a resolution establishing the SFY 14 Community Correction Fund, 181. And have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into an agreement contract with the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board of Seneca County, Sandusky, and Wyandotte counties on behalf of the Seneca County Juvenile Court. A resolution authorizing the contract agreement with Zeiss Development Ltd. for the supply of materials and labor to construct a 24 by 24 garage on behalf of the Seneca County Juvenile Court. I have resolution hiring Caleb Vargas as an intermittent maintenance worker for the Seneca County Maintenance Department through the TANF Summer Youth Program, effective July 1st. This is actually, they're going on our maintenance payroll, but this is the youth that Job and Family Services will be using. It's 100% paid, reimbursed from the state for this summer youth program to get. They're hiring a couple, I think, but it has to go on our payroll.
Okay.
So I got another hiring Justin Romeg as an intermittent maintenance worker for the Seneca County Maintenance Department through the TANF Summer Youth Employment Program, effective July 1st. And I have I guess that's the one for Wyandotte County. I do have one extra one I wanted to bring up. Last year, the sheriff came to the board and asked for, it was a $13,767 for a annual maintenance agreement for their live scan booking station. We had appropriated it and approved it. Sheriff's office didn't get it paid, so at the end of the year, it got put back into the general fund. So they called and was asking about the payment. Where was the payment? So they're asking for us to reappropriate it. It was appropriated last year, so when it got put back in the kitty, it's the part of the carryover. So they're wanting to be able to pay that contract for that $13,767 for contract services.
13,007.
$767. It just was inadvertently left on the books last year, and it wasn't vouchered out to the vendor
Okay.
as it should be.
Is that all the motions, resolutions? All right. Is there a motion?
Motion, we approve the resolutions as read.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on any of them?
Yeah, on the last one, the 13,767, so that then is,
That will.
I mean, I
reduce
can
your-
understand what happened, so that will lower the,
That will lower your carryover, or your unappropriated balance, yes.
and so at the end of the year, that would have, they would have had a purchase order or something on that, that must have got canceled out.
Mhm. Yep, that got, because usually the auditor's office gives us a date. I think it's either late November, 1st of December, that they say, we're closing your purchase orders unless you tell me specifically to keep this open for a reason. And they just must have overlooked it, and so the purchase order got closed, so it puts it back in the line, and once December 31st hit, everything in the line goes back to the fund, so it got put in, that would have been the carryover, which is now part of our unappropriated balance, so.
More discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Whitmer?
Yes. Okay, let's pause in this meeting and greet our friends here from Wyandotte County. Thanks for coming down for our ditch hearing. We have all three commissioners present. We can note for the record here from Wyandotte County. We have
Oh,
a...
Wood County.
This is Wyandotte.
It's Wyandotte?
They're a lot better elected than Wood County.
I don't know about that. I don't want to get in a battle with Wood County.
We're both at the end of the alphabet.
Okay, I have a resolution for the maintenance assessments for collection in 2014 for the Seneca and Wyandotte County ditches maintained by the Seneca County Ditch Maintenance Program. We have two, the Grimes Joint County Ditch 30% and the Weininger Joint County, which is to 0%.
Okay, is there a motion on that?
Make a motion that we approve that as mentioned.
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Sykes seconds it. Is there a discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Whitmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Claymer?
Yes.
Commissioner Metzger?
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
All right, and any other business for our group?
No, but maybe in the future you won't see us as often
Yeah.
because they're working on, I think they passed the legislation or it's getting
I guess it's in the budget.
Yeah.
So that'll be
That
nice.
we won't have to run around for these
Mhm.
things, so.
We were up at Sandusky County this morning, so won't take effect to help us this year, but next year, hopefully. Appreciate your help in getting that done.
Okay, no
Seems like a
problem.
waste of taxpayers' money to drive all the way over here.
Yes, it is.
Not that we don't like you to come to our county and spend money and so forth. but-
How much rain did you get down Upper Sandusky?
Out my way, I got a half an inch, but I, 1.15.
Really? Yeah. And she's in the north end of the county, had like 3
Wait,
inches.
3.
Wow.
I'm down by Melmore, I only had a quarter of an inch, so it's all over the board, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
We'll take anything we can get
Yeah.
right now. We
Yeah.
don't want another last
Yeah.
summer, you know.
that's right. Okay. It's official signatures.
Let's take a copy back. I guess the other thing I would mention, Fred, is the Route 53
Yes, sir.
possibilities, and we're all behind you on that. I guess our struggle is how much time can we spend with you, you know, and I don't know when your next meeting, you talked about possibly Friday.
Yeah, we have Sandusky, Ottawa, and Seneca. We have a meeting in Ottawa for three of the commissioners are gonna, from each one of those counties, are gonna meet this Friday and discuss a process that we can go to ODOT in Bowling Green and work with them on filling out the application for the track process.
We're all kind of tied up this Friday, so, but keep us abreast, and any meetings that we can make, you know, we'll be involved as much as we can.
And we certainly appreciate it. You know, we understand that of the time commitment, and at some point or other, there will be some sort of financial commitment behind the thing, but as to what, where, when, how, we don't know. But the thought process is that United we'll have a better voice at ODOT than what we do singly, with us being all 4 rural counties.
Well, we don't want to see all that money go to Cuyahoga County or Lucas County.
Well, yeah, and so our best option is United. So we certainly appreciate your support. We understand it's kind of a last minute notice here, but that worked with Sandusky and Ottawa, and I certainly was receptive to the thing. So we understand at the last minute it just doesn't work, but we do appreciate your support. We want to keep the coalition together, but again, the process is to boil this down into a smaller group that can physically go to Bowling Green and then report that back to the overall coalition as to how this is progressing.
I'll keep it posted.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks again for coming.
All right, thank you.
You've got all the signatures you need, and they have a
Yep.
copy they need? Okay, great.
Okay?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, and we have, I assume you're David Graham?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Please come and tell us what's your,
Well, there's actually a first reason why I wanted to meet with you, and then there's additional opportunities.
As long as we just cut the date off for when they come in, we can open them.
okay, all right.
I don't have an extra card.
That's
I
okay.
apologize. May I stand here? Is this okay?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Whatever you want.
I'll be very, very brief. Good morning again to you. 2 reasons for me coming forward. Number one, I am a supplemental insurance broker working with counties and cities in Ohio. I had the privilege of meeting the board 2 years ago, and just got too busy with the supplemental insurance programs for cities, schools, and counties to follow up effectively, so I thought we would start again at scratch. So I'm hoping to be a broker for the Allstate insurance, which I'm going to show you. But as a broker, I came across an opportunity for my counties to help them to get a genuine broker quote for their utility services, their electric and their gas. There's been dozens of companies that have worn all the business people out wanting to give them a quote since deregulation for electricity and gas. There's only one company that's a true brokerage. What that means is, rather than go to a company that says we cannot beat the current gas and electrical rate, they take it to a company that professionally analyzes to see if there's being overcharged, and then they have 4 or 5 companies that can bid on that. So I charge nothing for it, there's no fees, there's no obligation, there's nothing. So I'd love to help the county with that, as I'm working with many of the counties here in Ohio for insurance and for that. So that's the first part. If I can help you in the future, great. The main reason...
This is an aggregation program?
Yeah, utilities in Ohio, electricity and gas were deregulated a number of years ago, and it has become a feeding frenzy. So I joined together with a brokerage because I got tired of my counties and my cities saying, yes, we'll provide you with the bills, and you send it out, and there's only one choice company to go to, and rather than there being a genuine bidding process. So yes, these companies aggregate out based upon energy supply and commodities, and they give a quote to the county on what they can save for electricity, if anything, and what they can save for gas, if anything, on all their facilities, all their
We
locations.
currently do that through the Commissioners Association on
Yes.
both gas and electric, so would this differ from that in some way?
No, the County Commissioners Association, I've been a part of that for a few years. They do a great job. Not all the counties are participating in that, so.
Okay.
But thank you very much. I will give each one of you a packet, a folder here, and they should be uniform. If it's a fit, great. If not, great. I know that Stacy, I've talked with you. A number of years ago, a salesman came to my company. I have 7 employees and said, you're currently offering your employees Aflac, correct? And I said, yes. And they said, well, there's a new company out there that costs less and does more in supplemental insurance. And I watched as companies like Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, many schools, cities, and towns brought in the Allstate program. And so I brought it into my brokerage, and I now offer this in addition to 11 companies. So when you open up your folder, because I'm a just the facts kind of guy, and I committed not to waste your time, what I did, I apologize, Stacy, I put together a side-by-side comparison of what on average an employee will pay for payroll deduction for a company like Aflac or like Colonial, which you currently offer, compared to Allstate. And then I showed you what the payouts are for an employee on an insurance program that they pay for themselves through payroll deduction. So, for example, Aflac's a great company. It's where I had my personal accident and cancer insurance on my family and my 3 boys. They would have given me $325 for a fractured ankle, charged me around $12 every 2 weeks. The Allstate program saves me about $7 a month, and they're going to give me $1,600 for the same fractured foot or ankle. From the county standpoint, for a wellness incentive, Aflac will give me $60 once a year to go to the doctor for any reason, like a dental exam, after a 1-year elimination. The Allstate program, for less money, provides me with 2 visits a year to the doctor for any reason, paying me $50 each time, and 4 visits for my family and the very first year. The wellness on the cancer insurance, which is your left-hand page, that is a typical cancer policy. You can see it's about half the cost of what your employees are currently paying. And it goes from a $3,000 check on diagnosis, they increase it for less money to a $4,000 payment on diagnosis. So what I'm approaching the commissioner board for is, because I did not ask for the opportunity to be a broker 2 years ago, in March when I was here, I've got that date, I'd like to ask for the opportunity to get the information in folders like this to the employees through the department heads or elected officials. If they are interested in talking with me, there's a response form I'll include in there. Only the employees who said, yes, I'd like a quote compared to what I have, or I'd like to ask questions, I would meet with. And if we can find 5 employees who can see the value here, with the commissioners through the auditor's office, allow a payroll slot to be opened for the Allstate program. The biggest thing I'll leave you with on the difference between this particular company, and again, I represent all the companies. On short-term disability, Allstate is the only company in the nation right now that will allow a county employee to take out short-term disability income protection on their spouse or significant other's income through payroll deduction here at Seneca County. So many of your employees maybe have a spouse that works outside of the home. For the school system, for example, they can't get short-term disability there. They can sign up for payroll deduction short-term disability here on that income through payroll deduction with the Allstate program. So that's very, very unique. Other than that, I told you I would not go a minute over. I currently work with over 100 counties and cities between here and Indiana. When I met with Stacy 2 years ago, I worked with 4. So it's become very popular. And any questions or thoughts?
For me, because I'm a newbie, do we currently have Aflac?
We currently have Aflac.
Aflac and Colonial. I spoke to.
We have both.
Yes, I spoke to the auditor's office of payroll before I came in today.
Why do we have both?
Well, these are supplementals that people
Yeah.
can buy. One Julie wanted to get rid of, wasn't it? Was it?
One, there was hardly anybody
There
on,
was
or
only
maybe
like
two.
1 or 2
There was
people
only
on
2 on them.
Colonial, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, Jenny said
Aflac's kind of the main one. She likes to keep a limited offering because it's
Yeah.
just such a hassle to take, so much from this one and that one and keep it all straight and track them, especially when there's a limited clientele. I guess if we would talk to the auditor about her feelings on this, if you're in a big hurry to
Not at
have
all,
an answer.
not at all. I know you have a number of things on your plate. I'll be happy to meet briefly with the payroll, with Jenna and with the auditor, give them a folder. And that way, when you do speak to them, they'll
That'd be
have
a good idea.
the information. And if it's a no, that's
Uh-huh.
great. If it's a yes, fantastic.
I think Julie's off this week, but if you talk, who'd you talk to? Diane maybe, or Mary Jane? Who?
Maybe.
I have to be back here for the city in the next 2 weeks. I'm doing
Okay.
Tiffin, so
Okay.
I'll catch
Okay.
and get this folder dropped. I'll try to get this dropped off today.
Okay.
That way at least be there.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Thanks for your
This is really
leadership.
the need where the county should have an HR department
Yeah.
to assess this whole thing professionally and then come back to us and say, do we want it or not? I mean, from a business perspective, of my business, I would have HR that would deal with this and that would then make a recommendation back to the board or whatever.
And understanding how many of my counties work with, I see counties with 4 and 5 carriers. There's a real need to consolidate things, but when I did meet with Stacy, I think she would agree. I was very low-key, didn't try to sell. I was hoping that the County Commissioners Association or the Administrators Association would pick this up. But I will follow up with the auditor's office.
Okay.
I'll send an email through you, Stacy, and then from there, I'll look forward to any response from the auditor's office.
Are you endorsed by CCAO?
No, I'm not. No, I'm
Is
not.
Aflac endorsed by CCAO?
Colonial is.
Colonial, yes.
Yeah, Colonial is the only endorsed vendor.
Why would they be endorsed? And have you not went for endorsement? What's up?
Mr. Long and Tom Stutes do a great job. And the decisions that the Commissioner Association and the the Ohio Auditor Association have made, I can't speak to. I was just too late to get to the line to try to be an endorsed vendor. They chose one,
And
which is
they
the way it should be.
they only do one.
Colonial's a great company. I just think having the facts spelled out there without salesmanship speaks volumes. I'd like to see the county offer the lowest cost, highest value product, and then something else in addition to that. That sounds self-serving, and it is. I'm on commission. But the facts speak for themselves, so if I can help you, I'll be happy to. I really can't answer that question. I've had some pretty intense conversations with both the leaders of the association. They're good people.
Okay.
Yeah, Larry, yes.
Fair enough? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Just this week, she back next week?
She left
Yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah, I think she's back
Back next week?
next week. Yeah, she said it'll be her
Maybe we
budget
can
commission.
have her come over sometime,
Okay.
if she's willing to talk about this with us.
Got your name right.
Yep.
Okay, I thought so. Bye-bye.
All right. We also have a bid opening.
Yeah.
Stuff, okay. And this is for the Seneca County 14 superstructure box beams.
What is that?
There's one out here.
Pardon?
Oh,
I
okay.
had to bid this one out like 3 times, I don't know what keeps happening, but.
Huh.
What's the superstructure replacement box beam?
There's a technical answer from Mark on that.
Something for a road.
Is it a bridge? Is it
Well,
a?
sort of a box, you know, they have a lot of these box culverts that are just like some are 3-sided boxes, some are 4-sided boxes that goes under the road.
Oh,
But I'm not
okay.
sure a box beam, now if that's just the beam for the boxes, or if that's the whole box, or what.
I see. Culvert.
Yeah. Big one.
You just have one bid?
I just have one
I say that
bid.
because there's nobody here.
Okay, the engineer's estimate for this project, which is the Seneca County Road 14-1.6, contract number 1302, superstructure replacements, pre-stressed box beams. Engineer's estimate for this project is $64,500, 64500.00. The bid is from Pre-Stress Services Industries LLC out of Lexington, Kentucky. And the total bid amount is $64,500. And a bid guarantee and contract bond is included.
Must be somewhat specialized if you're not getting a lot of
Yeah, you only get one.
bids. Okay, we will refer that to the engineer's office for his recommendation and take action at a later date. Okay, back to the agenda then. Did you have any more new business, Ms. Wilson?
Nope.
Okay, did you have any new business?
Just a question, we brought it up Tuesday, did you decide if we're going to do Bedsville or New Riddle for the next meeting, that way I can
Next
kind of
quarter
call and
meeting.
set it up for.
I guess I'd favor New Regal for the sake, I'd like to make sure, I mean, I know we reached out to the townships, but I wanna, I guess the potential of more people maybe, I don't know, maybe that would happen, but it'd be our third outing on these, and I just wanna,
Where's the
see that
township
maybe we get a
meeting at?
little more interest.
Where's the township meeting at next quarter, do we know? We can
Oh.
try to stay
That's true.
the opposite end of,
Yeah.
I can look, but I don't think she sent it out yet.
send it out yet, okay.
New Regal's fine with me.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's, I
I'm
don't.
fine with that.
I guess, I mean, they both have village councils and that kind of stuff, I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought that would be.
I was gonna make an executive decision and flip a coin.
Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'm fine.
if the township meeting's that way, then maybe we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we just had it in New Riegel this quarter, so it won't be that way.
All right.
Right, yeah.
So, we'll be good. They won't.
Why don't you shoot for New Regal if they will allow us to use their township hall or their village hall. We had 3 guests at, where were we at, Attica.
Attica.
Yeah, we had the Greg
We
Martin.
missed you guys.
Greg Martin, the administrator, and 2 from the fire department were there.
Gas was too high.
Yeah. And then you missed Fred riding his bicycle to work Tuesday, when we had that thing for Heidelberg. He was just chugging along.
I did forget, Fred asked if we could get an update, get Tia in here, because we talked about it Tuesday.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be in, Mark may be a few minutes late, but he'll be in as well. Tia will be the main update. They're gonna come in Tuesday at 9:30 for the
Okay.
work session.
Okay, good.
So, we're gonna try to get him in here today, but Tia was gonna be out of town and
Okay.
it was kinda short notice, so they'll be in Tuesday at 9:30.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
kind of a, where they're at right now and, to see, you know, whether or not they feel they're gonna make it and get it done by that date, so. That
This
update
way- Yeah,
will
this
be-
way we kind of push it along a little bit, because what I understand, if we have to make official notification for us to send it out, it's about $7,000 to send the posting out and so forth, and
Well, we can still have our meeting on the 16th and then continue it, but it's kind of embarrassing to get all these people come in and say, well, it's not ready.
Yeah, well, you can always, you know, give them a thorough update then. This, you know, we've done
Yes.
3/4 of the project and, you know, because we had to do that with,
I don't
What was it?
think they'll be ready to
Erie?
make a recommendation, though.
no, they'd
Yeah.
just be able to tell everybody where they're at in the process, I guess.
Yeah.
Erie's done that with the projects. We'll meet over to Good Shepherd Homes, and the engineer wasn't quite ready for the project, but instead of having to do those mailers, the 3 counties came together and basically they gave an update where they're at, with their, and then they'd reschedule it.
Well, we'll
So-
make the best of it if it isn't ready.
I
but
think
I
that's
sure
the
hope it's ready.
16th.
Yeah, we
wasn't
hope
it?
it's ready.
16th.
Yeah.
I think I'm out of town that day.
Lucky you.
I know. Good time to be out of town, both creeks out.
And the only other thing, OSU Extension wants to come in that day and do an update as well, so.
Okay, that'll have to be.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday, not the 16th.
Right,
Okay,
Tuesday,
yeah.
Tuesday's fine.
Yep, Tuesday.
All right, either of the commissioners have any new business for today?
No.
I don't think I do either. Public comment, yes, public comment. All right,
Must be a happy county.
is there a motion we adjourn then?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, we're adjourned at 10:47. Thank you all for coming.